my background. I was doing spiritual searching from a young age because I had in my family, there was no support. It was very mentally abusive type of thing, etc. So I did not have a supportive family. So I started my spiritual search very young. And so again, that's one of the things, looking at the silver lining. If I had a very supportive family, I would not have been so, how do I want to say it, so eager to be looking for something else, okay? So when I started out, all I wanted to be was off this planet. I was going through severe depression, PTSD, etc. I went through a lot of things in life. And so I started the search. I just wanted to be off this planet. I didn't ever want to come back. I was just, so no holds barred. I started my spiritual search. Now during, I graduated in 68, okay, and I moved up to Haight-Ashbury, okay. Now, while other people were wanting to smoke the toke and all of that, I was more into the spiritual thing. So I went into the Holy Order of Mans, a Christian-based esoteric order. And when I was there, I had the spiritual experience. Every evening we would go down for prayers, okay? And Father Blyton would, bless you. Well, went down for prayers, and during that night, I was there, and he laid hands on my head, and all of a sudden, this gold light went through my body, and I can tell you the light was that big. It went straight down through my body, a gold light, boom, and I was like this, literally like this, like being crucified. I was nailed to the floor, and it was like, oh my God. And then immediately after that, I saw that the cross on the wall was a gold light around it. The cross on the altar had a purple glow around it. I was seeing auras, and I was in a samadhi, which I didn't know what a samadhi was at that point, but it was that feeling of you're here, you're not here, and then if I would have gotten hit by a car and killed at that point, I could have cared less, okay? I was in that altered state of, being able to see and not being, that, how do you want to describe it, not being in that maelstrom of mind spin, okay? You have that buffer zone where you can see things, witness state, what I call a witness state. You can see things happening and you can comment on it at the same time, okay? So it opened the Kundalini. I had no idea what Kundalini was and things at that point. And at that point in time, in 68, there were no books on Kundalini. There was nothing known. There was one book out there by Lee Sanella, which was not a help to anything. Great. So it opened that up. And it was a 30, 40-year journey from that point. But that opened that deep, deep spiritual awakening and search that continued. Now, that's not an easy path, because in that it brings up all your fears, all of these things to be looked at and dealt with that you have to go through. You have to navigate beyond those things, okay? So it's a tough path. I see all these books written now on Kundalini, and it's all bogus, nonsense that they have out there. If you're interested in those things, I do have a bunch of books on Amazon under Ganga Karmokar. So the ones that I say maybe if you're really interested in these things is Kundalini from Hell to Heaven, and the other one is about what's the title? About butterflies finding the freedom within. Okay, that one's got a lot of different subjects on a lot of different levels. And the other one, Kundalini from Hell to Heaven. Even if you're not in a Kundalini awakening, it's got things that I gave back from my experiences, maybe that can help you in your own spiritual search. Okay, so I'll just leave that there. I'm not here to sell books on my channel. But if you are interested in those things, you can find it there. So yeah, the things that I give out come out of that spiritual journey. Now, here, the last great falling away in the shift of consciousness was when I was in India. I sat down to meditate, and all of a sudden, this absolutely terror arose. And it's the way I explain it, it's like being in the Grand Canyon in the pitch black, and you know that big hole is there, but you're compelled to go forward. And I knew at that point that I had done everything I could possibly do, and the only thing left was to surrender 100%. And I literally said within myself, on the altar of truth I lay myself. Okay? And then the next thing that happened, you got this terror because you're feeling you don't know if your life is going to end totally, if you're going to be possessed, you don't know what's going to happen. It's just this total unknown into this void. And so you either surrender or you pull back and run. I surrendered, and immediately there was a shift. Everything was gone in this world, okay? And the only thing that existed in that realm was what I term the divine is. And you know the perfection of this, and so immediately your consciousness is changed. It's what they say is everything is blown out, and it is blown out. At that moment, the mind totally stills, and it doesn't come back. You don't ever have again that rotating mind spin of thoughts. You're in that clarity of stillness at that point, okay? So your whole consciousness changes, and you can see the way this whole thing is, that everything, it comes from that divine perfection, and you understand the lingam, that the zero is that divine is, and then everything comes out of the yoni into this world of expression, but everything here is transitory. It's I don't want to say a figment of your imagination, but it is, it's not the full reality. Things are, how do I want to say it, contained. Things are, it's hard to explain it in terms. Things are, you don't see the fullness, limited. Things are limited into these expressions that you go through to explore in consciousness. Okay, so when you leave the form, you're on the other side, you're a light body at that point, and then you go through and you see all of the life happenings. There's that life review. Now, those that have done the negative things, why I say karma, they don't get out of anything. When they leave the physicality of form, they feel every pain that they have put people through. They see it from the other person's consciousness. okay? And that's a hell realm. Imagine what Trump is going to go through when he leaves the physicality of form. Every lie, every cheat, every thing that he's put people through, he will feel from their consciousness what they went through. And he has done this for, what is it, close to 78 years, okay? He's not getting out of anything. He's not getting out of anything, okay? So why all this expression is coming through right now, I don't know, but apparently it's what I need to speak about today. So people understand where I'm coming from with things here. It comes out of a very long, complicated journey. I have given things out, and one thing that I've given out has worked very well. One of my students is working with first responders that are involved in, they're numbing themselves with drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. And so one thing that I've given her to do is to do these, what do you call it? I can't think of the name of it now. Well, you cut out these pictures and things and you post a collage. You do these collages and you can look, and because the subconscious puts this stuff out there, you can see where their hang up is, what they are stuck on, and you can show them at that point, and then they make their own path forward. You aid them to make their own path forward. You're not telling them you do this, you do that. You're helping them to see where they are stuck, what's revolving underneath all of this stuff, and then they can make their journey forward. And that's working well. That works very well. Because you go back and say, look, I didn't put this together, you put this together. And they see that that's true, and it really does kind of open their eyes to what's under the surface that they haven't dealt with, etc., and what's driving their actions. So it aids them to be able to find a door to more freedom and understanding of what they're doing, why they're doing it, etc. So that's a whole other thing. But anyway, the one thing that when I was going through my journey, I told Spirit, okay, I told the universe, whatever I got, I would give back to humanity. And so that is what I have tried to do, whether it was on my channel, Guru Swami G, and which was more all spiritual based, aiding people with Kundalini, etc., giving them that knowledge, and some of it was from Advaita versus Advaita. Advaita is where you're seeing the whole and you are within that space rather than the divisionary world. Okay, it's the easiest way to say it. Because when you go through this and you enter what's termed enlightenment, it just means that the rest of all this stuff has been blown out. Nibbana, nirvana, nibbana means blown out, and that's what happens in the consciousness. All of these thoughts and things that you held are blown out, okay? They're blown out, and there is more of that clarity at that point and a still mind, okay? You enter into Turiyatita, which is the stilled mind, okay? Now the difficulty when you get these ones, gurus that say they've done the journey, but they have had a glimpse, but then they come back and reconstruct ego, the mind spin is back again, then you see these ones that claim they are God and they're beyond karma and they're in this delusion, fantasy of greatness, etc., because they've only had a taste, and then they went back and wrapped it around ego, the mental spin. So that's something you have to be aware of and be mindful of. If you see somebody saying, oh, I'm so much better than you, etc., no. Realization is the great leveling experience. You know that every single being, every single animal, whatever it is, has the same amount of that divine is within them. Okay? No one's higher, no one's lower. Some are just more awake to that fact than others are. That's all it is. But there's no higher, no lower. Okay? Everyone is on the same level. Okay? So that's it. It's like Buddha said, I've awakened. And that's why I laugh when these ones say they hate woke. Buddha was woke. Jesus was woke. So it shows where they are in their consciousness. Yes, they're anti-Christ. They are anti, they want that restriction and holding to ego and that divisionary thing. They're fully in the divisionary thing where they think they need to put others down to elevate themselves, fear-based, etc., not knowing there's enough to go around for everyone if they get out of this divisionary thing of lack, etc. Okay, so that's where that's at. That's where that's at. So anyway, on that note, I'm just going to leave that here. I went way too long. Well, maybe not. Maybe this is, what needed to come through today, just so people understand what is here and the perspective of consciousness that is being seen from here. And so one reason that I'm calm and I am, I'm not in that mental framework of the drama of being attached to those emotional things. When you step out of that and you're more in the realm of Advaita, you've got that buffer. You've got that buffer, that stillness that's in the midst of it. And that's what people hear when I play Native American flute. It comes from that stillness. It comes from that place within. So that's it. And everybody's got, like I said, the same amount of divine is. There is not one place on the planet that has more divine is than another place. It's only a mental fabric that people put into place with that. Oh, you got to go to this building, it's more holy. Well, that's their mental perception, but that's not the truth of it. Okay, there's the same amount of divine is. There's no place that God is not, like the Bible says, the highest heaven or the lowest hell. God is there, okay, in the same amount. The change within that is that mental framework, okay, is that consciousness, that mental framework that people put out into a divisionary realm. So that's it. Spirituality in a nutshell. Oh my goodness. So on that note, I'm going to leave that here. I hope I haven't bored you to tears with this. And again, it's not to try to say I'm better than anybody. It's not that at all. Again, you know that everybody's got the same amount of the divine is. It's just, can they get out of that mental framework they've got themselves in of limitation, and in the soap opera they're creating within their lives? Can they step out of that enough to go into that expansion? That's all. That's all. The only thing, what I found out with that, when I started out, I was in so much pain and just wanted out of this existence, I saw that this existence was not the problem. The problem was the mental framework that I had put myself in that soap opera story that had been constructed and that I was glued to, okay? It's like, the other thing that's coming in real quick is that when you're on this wheel, you have this wheel that's going, okay? So when you start out, you're hanging on the edge of the wheel and you're just like this, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And the further you go on the spiritual path, the more you go into the center till you reach the axis. Then it's that still point and everything else revolves around it, okay? When you start out, though, you're hanging on the edge for dear life and spinning out in the universe, trying to hang on, But the further you go, the more you enter that quietude and that stillness until you get to the center point, and then everything revolves around it. And you're in the center point of being able to see without being that distraction of clinging to this wheel and getting buffeted by everything, okay? Rather than getting buffeted by everything, you're better to go with the flow of life. Get in the boat and go downstream. Let it go, okay? Let it go. Because life is eternal, okay? We're here in these physicalities of form for a time to have limited experience. And then we leave that. When it's no longer viable, we leave the physicality of form. We go to the other side. We get to see what we had done and what we needed to learn from that experience and where we're going next. Okay? So thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate everyone here. And again, take a breath. This too will pass. Okay? No matter what's happening, we will make it through. Okay? And we just take it a day at a time, a breath at a time. Now I know, like I said, within my journey, at points of it, there was one point of it that is, I will go ahead and relate it, where it was second by second just holding on. Because at one point I felt the weight of the world. You felt all the depression, you felt the sadness, you felt the pain of everyone, and it is crushing, I mean absolutely crushing, just trying to take the next breath. And at that point, you are just hanging on second by second. Second by second. But that's part of the spiritual experience. You go and the thing that I asked for, be careful what you ask for, because when I was young, I literally asked, let me walk the path of Christ. Oh my God. And that's what you do. You walk this path and you feel, basically feeling like you're being crucified, and the fear and the drama and, facing all of these things. So be careful what you ask for. I didn't know the consequences of that. I didn't know the consequences of that. And it was at that part where I was in that, I said, one part of the journey, I said, please take away the pain. Feel the crushing weight of the world, the pain of that. You can't breathe. Please take away that. And it did. But what came was even worse than the crushing pain of it. It was that numbness and feeling of just utter depletion, death. And then you went, oh my God, when is the resurrection? Because, because that's it. You feel the pain, you feel the weight. And then don't forget, in the journey of Christ, after the crucifixion, what happened? He went to liberate people in the hell realms, okay? And hell could not hold him, and he went to liberate them, tell them the truth of things, Okay. So, don't ask to walk that journey because it's, you go through a lot of really difficult consciousness changes and things to navigate through. Now, if you want to be a spiritual teacher, that's what it takes. It takes being going through all those really heavy, difficult experiences and coming out the other side so that you can give people a roadmap. This idea about wounded teachers, if you are wounded, then that's like the Bible says, you got the blind one trying to lead the blind and they both fall in the ditch. You've got to be able to navigate and find a roadmap through, find a roadmap out, so that you can give some sort of guidance that can aid others. Now, whether they take it or not is up to them. You cannot do it for anyone. You wish you could. You wish you could wave a magic wand, but you can't. Everyone has to navigate their own experience, navigate their own way through. Okay? So that's what that's about. Oh my goodness. That's what this is. You've got, I'll explain my tattoo. All my tattoos are from spirit. You've got the butterflies, those are all about transformation. My leg, I've got one that's Kundalini. Here we have Kali. Now, Kali is fearsome. Kali is also Kundalini, okay? And she's very fearsome looking because you have to face your fears. You have to go through. The last big demon she fought was what? Ego. That identification of clinging into the 3D realm or that soap opera life. Okay? So Kali, you go through the death and then you come to the Buddha. You come to that falling away. You come to that blown out. You come to that awareness. Okay? So that's a spiritual journey. You got all the fire. You got all this stuff going on. Things that you have to pass through on your journey to liberation. Now you're always in one sense liberated. You're liberated. You have got free choice. You have got free will. You are liberated into free will. So you make your choices in life, and whatever choice you make, you will learn lessons from them. That's why I say there's no one right way. No matter what you choose, you will learn lessons from it. Okay? Are we done yet? Okay. So again, I'm going to try to end this one more time. And people should understand what they've got in the channel, the person they're dealing with, the energy that's there. And, if it's for you, great. If it's not, blessings on your journey wherever you decide to go. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you online. Oh my Lord. I'm going to have my coffee. Okay.